But I want to jump right in and get started. So can everyone see my screen? You should see that beautiful image of St. Kitts there, Timothy Hill Lookout.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, fantastic. So off we go. We'll pack our bags and we're off to St. Kitts this evening. All right. So this next image, I really like to kind of introduce our island in terms of the overview, where we're located. I think we are definitely a destination that is a little off the radar, but we're not off the map. We're not that far away. If you look where you see this lovely map of the Caribbean, you see this red thumbtack here. St. Kitts and Nevis is where we're located. We're a two-island nation. So St. Kitts is the larger of the two islands, and Nevis is our sister island. As you can see here, our largest island neighbors are Antigua and Barbuda, and then north of us, you'll find St. Martin. So we are not far away, but I do think we often fly a little bit under the radar because we're not as developed and we're not as mass market as some of the other destinations. Um, I always like to say at this point to my agents when I'm training them is really to kind of explain that our experiences on the island are a lot more like a Costa Rica or a Hawaii. That's the kind of experience that we have on our islands. So as I mentioned before, we are a dual island nation. St. Kitts is the larger of the two. And then this 2.5 mile crossing between the two islands is called the Narrows. The majority of people, when they come to the islands and they stay over, they try to do a split stay destination where they have some time on St. Kitts and then they have some time on Nevis as well. I highly encourage that for your clients if they're going to come because the two islands are very different from one another. We like to call it two islands, but one paradise. We are an independent federation, but we're part of the British Commonwealth. So your clients will need a passport to travel to our islands. Our population is quite small. We only have about 54,000 people over both islands. We're a very, very laid back, very authentic, very friendly destination, and we're also very safe. We're also very unique in the sense that we do not have any all-inclusives on our islands. We want clients to come and then go explore. We're quite lucky that our islands are so safe that it is quite easy to do that. And as a bonus, we do take US dollars all over both islands. So your clients don't need to take out money unless they want to. We have quite a bit of airlift into the islands. As you'll see from this map here, we have quite a bit out of the Northeast with United, American, Delta, and JetBlue, all going out of JFK and Newark. But we also have a Saturday service with Delta every Saturday out of Atlanta. We also have a Saturday nonstop service out of Charlotte with American Airlines. And we also have a daily service with Miami every single day throughout the year. We've also got quite a bit of airlift through the Caribbean region as well. So if your clients want to do some island hopping, we have that option as well. And of course, we do have our Air Canada flight out of Toronto and our British Airways flight out of the UK in case you have clients overseas. So we do have quite a bit of airlift. Now, of course, we would love more, but we do have quite a fair bit to our island. So there's always a way to get to our island. And if you do have clients that are trying to connect through Charlotte or Atlanta, I do stress that because we're two islands, really encourage your clients to spend a whole week because then they get both islands. And I think that is oftentimes how we get around that Saturday service only being once a week. At the moment, we don't have any COVID testing or protocols. Those days are over, fingers and toes crossed. But we do now have a new ETA program, which we just launched at the end of May. This really just helps to expedite the process when your clients arrive on the island. And if you go to our website, which is visitstkitts.com, you will actually see the section for our travel form, which will lead you directly to our new ETA program. Much like Antigua and other destinations in the region, this process is very easy. It's very straightforward. Clients can do it on their laptop, on their phone, and they will receive an approval via a QR code. And then when they arrive on the island, they can go through the kiosks, and it's much, much quicker to get through customs and immigration than it was previously. Being a small island, being a small airport with only 4 gates, oftentimes on those Saturdays when everybody is arriving within an hour or two of each other, those lines at immigration could get quite long. So this new ETA program is really combating that by making the process much smoother and much quicker. So that's enables your clients to get to the beach, to get to the resort, and to get that cocktail in their hand much sooner than if they were waiting in a long customs line. We also have something quite unique that a lot of people aren't aware of. We have our Cayenne Jet Lounge, which is a first-class boutique arrival lounge adjacent to our actual airport. This is available to both private and commercial aircraft, and it really is a wonderful way to make a lasting first impression for your clients. All the baggage handling and customs and immigration paperwork is taken care of for the clients. They're greeted on the tarmac by a Porsche four-wheel drive and driven over to Cayenne Jet and then greeted with a cocktail or a coffee or something to eat. And they can just kind of relax and unwind and start to soak in the island time instead of waiting or going through the lines through the kiosks at the airport. This current price for Cayenne Jet is $235 per adult and $125 per child. This is commissionable to you as the agent. So you can either book this direct with Cayenne Jet or you could package it up with some of our different resorts on the island. A little bit of the logistics between the islands. It's very easy to get between St. Kitts and Nevis. We have water taxis, we have ferries, we even have a car ferry that operates throughout the day. So if clients are wondering how they get between the two, it is very straightforward. It's very easy. And in fact, if you have clients flying in and just staying on Nevis, their transfer will meet them at the airport on St. Kitts and then transfer them all the way down to the island and then transfer them over by water taxi to Nevis. Because being the larger of the two islands, St. Kitts is the location of the commercial and private airport, and also cruise ships. All the bigger cruise ships come into St. Kitts because Nevis is too small. Their port is too shallow. So St. Kitts really is your gateway for both islands. And speaking of cruises, we do have all the major cruise lines coming to our island. St. Kitts has 3 different piers, and the cruise port terminal at Port Zante is a fantastic cruise port. Very, very friendly, very laid back. Again, very, very safe. No one is going to hassle you. Like, this is a wonderful destination. If you want to have a look at something, people will leave you alone and let you be. Lots of great restaurants here, some wonderful jewelry stores as well. So if you have clients who want to buy some nice gemstones, this is a really wonderful option here at Port Zante. And as I mentioned before, all the major cruise lines do come into St. Kitts. However, with Nevis, it really is just your smaller yachts and more of your private vessels that are coming into Nevis. Much like with the aircraft, only private planes can get into Nevis, whereas the commercial planes fly into St. Kitts. So now that I've talked a little bit about the logistics of our islands, I really want to jump into what makes our islands so unique and so special. Now, both St. Kitts and Nevis are volcanic in origin, but what many people don't realize is that St. Kitts and Nevis were the first French colony and the first British colony in the Caribbean. There's a lot of history here on these islands, and in Brimstone Hill Fortress, our national park, you will actually witness our very first UNESCO World Heritage Site. This fortress was actually built into the hillside, and it took over 100 years to build. The British had this built to keep everyone else out. And clearly, I guess it did work because we're part of the British Commonwealth today. But the fortress is quite impressive. It is really a marvel to wonder how they actually built this with the kind of tools and mechanisms that they had at the time. But it is quite beautiful. And we just recently opened a new restaurant right at the top of the fortress. So you can have special occasion dinners there, as well as special events. But this really is an amazing fortress. And again, our only UNESCO World Heritage Site on either island. Something very unique to our islands, harking back to our history of sugar and sugar cane, we have our scenic railway, which we affectionately call the sugar train. This is actually a really fun excursion. It takes about 3 hours, and you actually go around the north side of St. Kitts. You actually travel on the original railroad tracks that used to take the sugarcane down to the sugarcane factory. The tracks have been restored. The train itself is the original train, and it's actually been turned into more of a tourist vessel where they serve rum punch and they tell stories and they sing and they actually talk about the more rural side of island life. You'll go through backyards of schools and churches and sweeping fields of sugarcane. It really is a nice excursion for families and for people who just want to see a little bit of the countryside of island life. Our Carabelle Boutique studio and gallery space is a wonderful little excursion, especially for those who love their art. Um, This is where we have our batik studio. And if you're not familiar with batik, this is an Indonesian art form and it involves hot wax and dye. And the artisans make brand new creations every single day. And we are now offering batik classes for clients to take themselves. So what is really unique about batik is that every single design is unique. I mean, nothing is mass produced because everything is done by hand. Nothing is done by machine. It's a very traditional process, and it is actually a very Zen-like experience to do batik because it really makes you slow down and concentrate on what you're doing. So if clients want to take a batik class, they can do that. Or if they just prefer to wander around the shop or watch the artisans at work, they're welcome to do that as well. The gardens here at Romney Manor are particularly beautiful, and they're actually on the ruins of Wingfield Estate, which was actually Thomas Jefferson's great grandfather's estate. So again, quite a bit of history here on the island. For those nature lovers out there and the foodies, we have a wonderful new excursion called La Amiga Natural Farm. This is a wonderful excursion that gets you out deep into our rainforest. You're greeted with an amazing spread of food. Everything that is served there is grown on the farm. You actually learn about the customs, you learn about what's actually grown there and what is harvested. And there is actually a cottage here, or a cabin, I should say, where you can actually stay there and go completely off the grid. There's no Wi-Fi, there is no electricity, everything is done by solar powered panels. It's an incredible experience. So if you've got clients that really want to disappear and go off the grid for a night or two, this is a really nice option. Or they can just do the day trip where you actually go up and explore the farm and actually have a wonderful spread of fresh food. It's a lot of fun. Our Rum Master program is a wonderful experience it kind of shows you more about the rum history and the rum culture to our island. We visit all the old and new distilleries on the island, and you will also get to distill your own batch of rum. At the conclusion of the excursion, you do get a Rum Master's certificate. And of course, you will be tasting rum throughout this entire 3-hour immersive tour. So we always recommend people have a full stomach before they kind of come on this tour. But it is fun, and you will actually take in Old Road Rum, which is the ruins of the oldest distillery dating back to 1681. And you will also go to the Spice Mill, which is home of the hibiscus libations over on the Southeast Peninsula. Roger, who is pictured there in this slide, he actually is the brains behind hibiscus rum, as well as hibiscus tequila and hibiscus gin. And he has assured me that all of these have healing properties because it's hibiscus. So we encourage people to give that a try. Our Fairview Great House is a wonderful opportunity for clients to do a little bit more rum tasting, but we also offer cooking classes here as well. The location here is beautiful. It actually looks out over the Caribbean, and it's actually very close to Brimstone Hill and Carabel Boutique. So really good thing to combine with those other excursions. Our rainforest is quite impressive. It's not only the La Amiga Natural Farm that you can do to explore a rainforest, but you can also go hiking, you can go zip lining, you can do horseback riding, you can do ATV tours, you can even do bird watching. A lot of different options. Our rainforest is really quite breathtaking. I mean, it's actually expanding, which is really remarkable in this day and age to be able to say. So we really encourage people to explore the rainforest while they're there. And the rainforest is pretty much on that north side of St. Kitts. That's kind of tucked in where all the historical sites are as well. For those who love the water, we have plenty of underwater adventures. We have catamaran cruises and snorkeling. We have the paddleboarding and kayaking, but we also have swimming with dolphins, which is extremely popular with families. We also have diving as well. So off both St. Kitts and Nevis, there are several shipwrecks. So there is some good diving opportunities as well. In fact, one of the dive sites, one of these shipwreck sites, you can actually snorkel and see some of the ruins. So even if clients aren't divers, they're still going to see some incredible activity under the water as well. And at this point, I do like to mention, I alluded to earlier in the presentation, our experience on St. Kitts and Nevis, to me, for the clients that would really enjoy our islands, are the kind of clients that are already asking you about Hawaii and Costa Rica. Because we have so many activities, because we have this amazing rainforest, because we have so much to do, I do think that those kind of clients really would fall in love with our islands. I also mention that because, as you'll see from this picture here, you have very different styles of beaches. We have some white sand beaches that you'll see to the left, but we also have black sand beaches as well. Being that we're volcanic in origin, we're going to have quite a variety of beaches. So much like Costa Rica, much like Hawaii, our beaches will vary depending where you are located on the island. I like to mention this because sometimes I think people have this idea that every island in the Caribbean is going to have a beach just like the Bahamas or Aruba. And that just isn't the case, especially being so volcanic and mountainous in origin. But they are quite beautiful. So again, it really just depends on what the client is after and what kind of experience they're seeking on their vacation. I do want to mention Nevis, our sister island. It has so much to offer. While it is smaller than St. Kitts, it is jam-packed with history and wonderful activities. To the left, of course, the most famous forefather to come from Nevis is Alexander Hamilton. He was actually born on the island of Nevis and spent the first 8 years of his life there. Over to the right, this is one of my favorite sites in Nevis. It's called St. Thomas Anglican Church. It dates back to the late 1600s, and they are still using this church today for weekly service, for weddings, and for baptisms. But I just love this shop because it's so typical that you might go up and you will see cows just kind of sleeping right by the church. Oftentimes you'll see monkeys. In fact, you may have to slow down to let the monkeys cross the road. So it really is a very different pace of life when you go over on Nevis. Very natural. And speaking of natural, a lot of wellness activities, yoga, chakra balancing, sound healing, horseback riding. We have that on St. Kitts as well, but I think with the pace being so much slower on Nevis, I think it does lend itself very well for those types of holidays and vacations. For the adventure lovers out there, we do have some biking adventures on Nevis, and then we do have our Robert Trent Jones 18-hole golf course on Nevis. This is actually located next to the Four Seasons Nevis property, but anyone is welcome to golf there. They would just need to book their tee time ahead of time. But I do mention that because there are some very avid golfers out there, and it really is a spectacular course. Beautiful views, but again, you might have to share your golf balls with the monkeys. So always good to keep that in the back pocket. Some of the accommodation options we have, they do vary. I mean, we do have something for everyone. I always kind of start off with our Marriott Resort because it is such an identifiable, recognizable brand here in North America. And location-wise, it's fantastic. 10 minutes from the airport. It's on a beautiful stretch of white sandy beach facing the Atlantic Ocean. 389 rooms and suites, and of course, the Marriott Vacation Club as well. 8 different restaurants, a beautifully just renovated spa. And we also have a casino here at the Marriott as well. And anyone is welcome to go to the casino. That was renovated back in 2019. And the location, again, is just spectacular. So if you look at the property here, it has all the amenities you'd expect. 3 different pools. The vacation club you'll see are these lower level structures. And then the main resort or the main hotel is here. But if you walk out the front door at the Marriott, across the street, you'll find a cafe, a drugstore, a grocery store, a salon. And then when you walk another 20 minutes down this way, this beautiful dark blue stretch of sand, that's the Caribbean side, and that is where the Strip is located. That's where all our local beach bars and restaurants are. So really, from a location point of view, it's hard to beat the Marriott because everything is within walking distance, while at the same time, you have all the amenities you'd expect from a Marriott resort. Right across the street and then behind our little shops of grocery stores and cafes, you'll find the Royal St. Kitts Hotel. This is a wonderful option for families and friends who are traveling together who might be on a little bit more of a budget. We have different suites. We have 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom options. We also have villas as well. While this isn't on the beach, it's also in that same great location that Marriott is, so it's walking distance to everything. It also has a wonderful fitness center. It offers yoga classes, painting classes, and it has a newly renovated spa as well. It has a saltwater and a freshwater pool. And again, every single room type will have either a kitchenette or a kitchen. So for people who are traveling and maybe want to have those options in their space, this is a really good option for them. Our Koi Resort is a Hilton property, which opened in 2020. Interesting timing, but this is a new build and it's actually located about a 10 to 15-minute drive north of the Marriott. Now, as you'll see here, Marriott is kind of in the distance here, and then this stretch of beach, which is a little bit darker, a little bit rougher, this is where the Koi is located. Beautiful property, much more intimate, a little bit smaller. It only has 102 rooms and suites, but the views are absolutely spectacular from this property. It is much smaller, so more boutique. You have this lovely little pool area, and they're currently building a beach bar area right along here. Now, they do have plans to develop the beach area and kind of bring in more sand and create a cove. But right now, I would say it's much more of a beach view property than it is a beach front because certain parts of the beach are not accessible. But having said that, it's a wonderful hotel for location. You can explore the island quite easily from this property, and the rooms really are beautiful. Very zen-like, floor-to-ceiling windows, wonderful amenities, everything that you would expect from a curio collection property. They also offer complimentary transportation to the beach and to the strip, which is where all the restaurants and bars are on the Caribbean side. So they offer those periodically throughout the day, and it's only about a 7 to 10 minute drive from the resort to the actual beach. So a really nice option for people who want to have a nice new boutique hotel without the price tag. So really, really good option. There's something a little bit different on the north side of our island. We have our Belmont Sanctuary Resort. This all the villas and cottages are built in the traditional Catitian architectural style. It is quite beautiful, very quiet, very peaceful. I always call this the property where you go to just disconnect. Wonderful infinity pools, wraparound verandas, and on a clear day from Belmont, you can actually see over to Statia, Saba, and St. Bart's. So it really is a beautiful location, tucked way into the rainforest and about 400 acres of tropical farmland. So really beautiful property, very, very peaceful. Not on the beach, but there is a nearby beach about 8 to 10 minutes away. But interestingly enough, that beach is also a black sand beach. So this property, I always say, is for people who just really want to get away and want to have more of a rainforest zen-like experience. Great for couples and great for friends traveling together. Our Sunset Reef Resort is one of our newer properties that opened in 2022. It's part of our Small Luxury Hotels of the World collection. It is a five-star property, very intimate, very boutique, only 7 luxury suites. It's built into the cliffside on the Caribbean side with amazing sunset views. The sandbar is actually built into the cliff where you can have drinks and dinner, and you actually look out onto the Caribbean Sea. Unobstructed views from every suite. You have your own little outdoor area with like outdoor couches, a fire pit, the amenities, the furnishings, the bedding, everything is just top of the top. It's absolutely beautiful and it's so intimate. You feel like it's your own little private villa. And in fact, if you have clients that want to book out for like a small family affair or maybe a small wedding, you can actually, your clients can book it out for 25 people and they can have the entire resort just for their party. So that's an option as well. But really beautiful, wonderful little restaurant on site, a small little fitness area. They do yoga at sunset. It really is a stunning little property. And it's also located very close to some of the historical sites like Brimstone Hill Fortress, Carabelle Boutique, as well as the scenic sugar train as well. So really good location. Down on the south end of the island, with views looking over to Nevis, you'll find our Park Hyatt Resort. So this is down in Banana Bay and the Southeast Peninsula. We have 126 rooms and suites and 1 presidential villa, 4 different restaurants, an amazing spa with 9 treatment rooms, 3 of which are for couples. They have a strong focus here on wellness, and they also have destination dining. They just put in a pickleball court. They have a wonderful fitness center, and the kids club is just sensational. And of course, one of their newer activities is stargazing. They actually bring in an astronomer with a telescope, and you actually get to see the constellations, different kind of meteor showers depending on that time of year. One of the nice things when you do stargazing on our islands, we don't have a lot of light pollution because we're not a very crowded island. So the viewing is really incredible. I can definitely say with Park Hyatt, every single room, no matter where you're located on this property, whether it's a suite, a villa, or a lead-in room type, every single one has views of the water overlooking Nevis. What you'll see on the top there is the entranceway, which they call the runway, getting down to the living room, which is really the lobby. And then the bottom picture you see here, that is actually the adults only pool that you see up through there. And those arches that you see were actually built to kind of honor our heritage on the island. So it was pretty much a nod to Brimstone Hill and our history on the island. So although this is a newer build property built in 2017, they wanted to keep the historical characteristics of the island and incorporate that into the property. And just down here, you'll also see the lagoon style family pool. And then that bridge of land you see here that is actually Nevis, so it is quite close. It does feel like you could reach out and touch it from Park Hyatt. Over on Four Seasons, sorry, over on Nevis, I should say, we have our Four Seasons Resort. This has been around since 1991. This is really has been the flagship property for both islands. They did a complete renovation in 2019. But what is quite charming about Four Seasons is that nothing is taller than a palm tree. They've really kind of kept that kind of guideline all throughout the island. In fact, all the properties on Nevis follow that same guideline. It has some wonderful restaurants. It's located on a lovely stretch of beach called Penny's Beach. It's got a sensational spa and a fantastic kids club, and they too have a pickleball court. And of course, the Bobby Jones Golf Course is adjacent to the property. But what is really nice about Four Seasons is that you have such a wide variety of room types. You have garden suites, beachfront suites, and then of course you have a whole variety of different villa options. Some are up by Nevis Peak, which is what you see here. Some are by the golf course, some are down by the ocean. So there really is quite a wide variety of villa and accommodation types at this property. But what I love about Park Hyatt and Four Seasons both is that with both of these resorts, you can eat and dine and enjoy the property. And then within a 10 to 15 minute walk from the property, you're at local bars and restaurants. So you really get the best of both worlds. Paradise Beach Villas is another nice luxury property on the same stretch of beach as Four Seasons. It's just a bit farther north. This is a much smaller property. It has a variety of villas and beach houses, very intimate, very luxurious, very exclusive, and very, very quiet. I always say this is the type of property your clients can enjoy if they want to go and disappear. It has one small beachfront restaurant, a small little fitness area, but you can get private chef services and private spa services available. It really is the kind of property when clients come, if they say, listen, we just want to be left alone, they will be left alone. And in fact, there is an unwritten rule on both islands that if celebrities are coming to the island, which they often do, it is an unwritten rule that no one makes a big deal. No one tells anyone, no one alerts the local media. They're just kind of left to have peace and quiet, which I think most celebrities really, really appreciate. And Paradise Beach Villas is definitely one where celebrities do make the most of that peace and quiet. Montpelier Plantation Inn is also located on Nevis. It's down on the south side of the island. This is quite an interesting little property. It's very historical. It was an old sugar plantation and they turned it into accommodation. It just reeks of history. It's very unique. It's tucked into the rainforest on Nevis. It's also our only Relais and Chateau property on either island, so the food is exceptional. We also have the Mill Privé, which is a 300-year-old sugar mill, which they've converted and turned into a private dining space. Really, really wonderful property. Very charming, very quiet. It was also a favorite of Princess Diana. So many years ago when the boys were young, she used to take them here because they really could disappear and it was very peaceful. So this is a very popular property with our British clientele, probably because of that connection, but also just because it is so unique and so historical. So really charming little property. Another very quaint, charming property, also tucked not too far from the rainforest and the Botanic Gardens on Nevis, is our Golden Rock Inn. This is very small, only 15 rooms, very, very quiet, wonderful cuisine here as well, farm to table. It's a nice spot just to kind of disconnect. Or if clients want to go somewhere a little bit different for lunch or dinner, this is a really charming spot. It's tucked amidst beautiful gardens and very, very peaceful. So it just has a really nice, I know I've said this before, but a kind of a Zen-like vibe because it is so peaceful, surrounded by the gardens. For family style accommodation, very similar to like our Marriott on St. Kitts, I also recommend our Hamilton Beach Villas. This also is located on Penny's Beach, just farther north than Four Seasons. And this offers studios, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom suites. Wonderful location. It's got a great restaurant on site called the Yachtsman Grill. And then you'll see the lagoon pool there is kind of tucked within the resort. So this is a really nice option if you've got friends traveling together or if you've got families traveling and they want that option of having a kitchen or a kitchenette. This is a really good option for them. In terms of dining, we've got all kinds of options. Gosh, if I put them all in, it would make this presentation go for another hour, but we've got some wonderful ones. I just wanted to pinpoint a few. Our Carambola Beach Club and Pavilion Beach Club, they're both located down on that south end of the island, not too far from Park Hyatt. Beautiful scenery, fantastic food, wonderful, wonderful, innovative cuisine, and just a really welcoming atmosphere. Great for special occasions. And then our family run restaurants. So we have our Spice Mill restaurant, which is actually located a 10-minute walk from Park Hyatt. And as you'll see through here, you'll see in the distance, that is Nevis. So it is really that close. And on the lower level of the Spice Mill, of course, is where you'll find hibiscus rum, which is featured in the rum tour. So you can also do some rum tasting as well. Spratnet is a local favorite. In fact, we try to do it every time we visit. It's run and owned by a local fisherman, so the seafood is incredibly fresh. And 2 or 3 times a week, they do offer live music with live local bands. So it's a lot of fun, and everybody is there. Tourists, locals, students, everyone gathers there together. So it's a really fun experience. And then, of course, on the strip, we have so many different options. You can do boozies, you can do shiggity shacks, so many different options right there on Frigate Bay on the Caribbean side of St. Kitts. And then we also have our Orchid Bay Beach House restaurant, which overlooks the Caribbean, tucked high up into the mountainside. So many different options. And of course, Nevis has endless options as well. So your clients will definitely not go hungry. If you have clients that are thinking about a unique destination for a destination wedding or maybe another vow renewal, we have so many different options on the islands, whether it's a church going back to the 1600s or whether it's on our sugar train. It could even be on our Brimstone Hill Fortress, or it could be in one of our many resorts. So many different options. So really nice option for your clients if they want something a little different. We don't have a residency requirement, so they can literally get married on the same day if they come in on a cruise ship, for example. Obviously, they will have to organize things ahead of time. Valid passports required, marriage license, a justice of the peace. But the only real stipulation we've ever had is that they must get married between sunrise and sunset. That's the only really rule we have, but it's a wonderful option. So many different unique venues, and we have quite a few different wedding planners on our island, but we also have wedding planners at each resort as well. So there's so many different options for your clients when it comes to that type of experience. Our events, we have so many special events. And in fact, this time of year, summer is so much fun on the island because it kicks off in June with our music festival. So every year, the last weekend in June, we hold our International Music Festival. Everything from soca, jazz, reggae, calypso, R&B, pop. We've even had country. So we pretty much have something for everyone. It's a huge draw, not only internationally, but for the Caribbean as well. I know this past June, our headlining act was Jennifer Hudson. Last year, it was Mary J. Blige. And then the year before that, it was Burner Boy. But in the past, we've had Patti LaBelle, Smokey Robinson. We've even had Kenny Rogers and the Goo Goo Dolls in the past. So it really is something for everyone. But we definitely try to get this on people's radar because the tickets sell so quickly. And of course, the flights and accommodation sell out pretty quickly as well. So that's something to definitely keep in mind if you've got clients who are interested in music festivals. And then for your clients that are active, that maybe do triathlons, or maybe they do biking events or swimming events, we have a cross-channel swim that happens the last weekend in March every year. It's a 2.5-mile swim from Nevis to St. Kitts. Extremely well organized. This is a very important event for us. It's going on its 30th year. We have support boats and we have buoys for every single swimmer, and we get contestants from all across the globe, all ages. It's a really, really well run event, and it's quite fun. I wish I was fit enough to do it, maybe one day. But this really is an amazing event if you've got clients that are so inclined to travel and then actually, participate in like a physical event like that. It really is a good one. Restaurant Week, we just had this in July. It's held every year. Both islands participate, and then every restaurant and bar will actually rally behind whatever ingredient is chosen for that particular year, and they make special drinks and exclusive menus just to cater to that particular ingredient. So last year it was papaya, the year before that it was sweet potato, and the year before that it was pineapple. So every year we kind of do something unique and pick an ingredient, and then everyone kind of rallies behind it. So it's a really fun thing to do if you're traveling to the islands in July. Our carnival celebration is loads of fun, and that happens every year from late December into early January. So it coincides well with the festive season. So if your clients are actually on our islands at festive, this is a wonderful thing for them to get involved with. They encourage people to kind of join in, have a dance, get some feathers, get some glitter, and just join in the party and join in the fun. So it really is a wonderful carnival celebration. And Nevis hosts their carnival celebration in August. So there is always something going on throughout the year. We do have a new destination specialist program we launched late last year. I'm going to keep this up for a while because this is actually quite an important one. I know you've sat through this webinar now for the last 40 minutes, so you're all pretty much experts now. But if you're interested in venturing a bit deeper into our destination specialist program is really, really good. It's very thorough, very interactive. It is self-paced, so if you don't finish all in one sitting, that's fine. You can come back to it. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your laptop, but it also talks not only about St. Kitts, but it also talks about Nevis as well. Because being a two-island nation, we always talk about both because it really is a wonderful option for your clients. If you have made a booking, like a stayover booking or an extended stay booking, we really encourage you to log those bookings with us so that lets us know that you're booking our destination, and it also puts you on our radar. So if we have opportunities like fam trips, or we're coming to your side of town for a road show, or if we are doing any kind of contests or any kind of marketing, it just helps to let us know if you're booking, if you're supporting us, we can also in turn support you. So really important link to have. And then last but not least, our websites. I've listed our website for St. Kitts Tourism. I've also listed the website for Nevis Tourism. And I also wanted to include this last website, Nevis Sun Tours, as a dear friend of mine has a DMC, and he actually operates some wonderful excursions and activities on both islands. So if you're interested in kind of organizing something for your clients, perhaps they're coming on a cruise and you really want to kind of help them get a bit more of a feel for the island, then definitely please reach out to Greg and Yvette at Nevis Sun Tours because they can put something together for your clients. And on that note, if you happen to be coming to the island yourself, whether it be for a stayover, extended stay trip, or a cruise, please reach out to us because we'd be happy to try to put something together for you so you can experience a bit of our islands as well. I know that sometimes when you are doing a cruise or if you're doing like a quick trip, you just kind of book the quickest thing you find, but we're more than happy to try to put something together for you because we know that once you've experienced something, once you've seen it for yourself, it's so much easier to sell it. So we really want to try to help you as much as we possibly can. So between the destination specialist program and then all of our different websites, and then of course our resources, which is myself and my amazing colleagues, Deborah and Danielle, we are here for you. We also have some very exciting news, and I know there's quite a few of you that are vlogging in tonight from Michigan. My colleague Shamari will actually be heading to Chicago later this year, and she will be based in the Midwest. So we will finally have some representation in the Midwest. She will also be looking after Michigan and Ohio. So this is very exciting news for us. So our little tiny team of 3 is growing. So I'll have to update that slide and include her picture, but I will include her information for you when I send my follow-up email tomorrow, because it's exciting. Our little team is growing, and we're here for you. We're here. We're your support. And if you do have any questions, I am going to turn it over and open the chat up to see if anyone has any questions.
All right, all right. Well, thank you, Allison, for all of that great information about St. Kitts. And we got Nevis as well. So we got 2 for 1 today. And everything that you showed us was so beautiful. The luxury and the off the grid properties and all the activities. It was just a wonderful, wonderful destination. And it's something that I am putting on my list of wanting to go because now it's just so beautiful and I want to go now.
Yay. Well, that's good. We would love it. And we do also have our Sky program flyer. So what I can do, I can send that in the email as well. It's our Sky program is basically a list of all of our agent discounts and industry rates at all of our properties from now up until the 15th of December. So that's
Oh,
another
nice.
option if you just wanted to go on your own and, with your family or your friends, that's another option as well. But if you do happen to be coming on a cruise, definitely reach out to us. We do that quite often because we realize that sometimes people's first introduction of our islands is through cruise. So that's something to think about as well.
Oh, great. Thank you for providing that. We'll be looking out for that. So at this time, guys, if you have any questions for Allison, put it in the chat box so we can get those questions answered. I know a lot of us are expressing interest and saying that we're putting it on our list of places to go, definitely. So if there's any questions, we'll leave the line open for a few minutes to see what questions you have that Allison can answer while she's on the line with us today.
And I'm also just typing in the chat the email addresses for my colleagues because I'm obviously in the Southeast, Deborah's in the Northeast. And that way, everyone, if they want to reach out, that way they have it.
Awesome. Thank you. Any questions, guys and gals?
One thing I did forget to mention, I just realized too, we are part of the British Commonwealth. Yes, you need a passport to travel, but I should probably mention, in case your clients want to rent a car, because they can do that, we drive on the left. So
Okay.
just like to mention that because people think, wait a minute, where's the steering wheel? So we drive on the left.
Okay. All right. So, yep, we already have someone that will be reaching out because they'll be cruising in January for our birthday. So she's
I
gonna be
saw
reaching out
that.
about going to St. Kitts. Yay, yay,
Wonderful.
yay.
That's fantastic. I'm going to figure out how to get everybody's email addresses. I'm just realizing I've got to figure out a way to.
Yes. So what we'll do though, we'll pull the transcript with the email addresses in there and we'll forward it over to you so you'll have them.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
We have a question that says, where do we get brochures for the properties?
Oh, good. Well, okay. That's a very good question. So we do have some are limited. I'm finding more and more properties are going paperless. It might be like a QR code, which takes you to their website. I have a little bit of collateral here, but I'm finding most of the resorts don't do brochures anymore. But if you go to the website, there's a section for where to stay, and that has basically all of the resorts for both islands, and it will actually direct you directly to their website. So for example, when you go to visit stkits.com, there's a section, how to get here, where to stay, things to do. But if you click on the where to stay, it will list all the accommodation. And if you scroll down, it will also list Nevis's accommodation. And then you can click on each individual property's website.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. So if you haven't already done so, put your email in the chat so we can get it over to Allison. And last call for questions. If anyone has any questions, put them in the chat box and Allison will be happy to answer them for you. Now we have a lot of thank yous.
Oh, thank you, everyone. I know it's hard after work or in the middle of a work day, depending on which time zone you're in. So
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, well, if there are not any more questions, Allison, we thank you for taking time out to come on our Walkthrough Wednesday and sharing all of that great information with us today. And we will definitely be in touch and look forward to the information that you're going to provide for us so we can all make our way to St. Kitts and Nevis. So thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful evening and everyone for joining the line. Thank you for plugging in and showing up for your business and make sure you share and tell everyone, all your clients about St. Kitts and Nevis. And we have the resources now. And on
yes,
behalf of our one star platinum, Mrs. Nina Jackson Mitchell, thank you for joining our one star. I'm sorry, our walkthrough Wednesday, and everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
thank you. Thank you, Nicole. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.